How did Dominik Mysterio become the most hated heel in WWE today? Let's talk about that. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Today in WWE, and even in all of professional wrestling, you could argue there is not a bigger heel than Dominik Mysterio. The reactions he gets from the crowd are like no other. He literally cannot get a word in. As soon as the mic gets to his mouth, the crowd erupts in a chorus of boos. It's to the point where you can barely hear him speak. There is nobody else on the WWE roster or even the AEW roster or any other promotion I can think of that gets that level of heat. It's remarkable. And the way this has gone down, the trajectory of Dominik Mysterio's WWE run has been astounding to watch. It's something that you just could not have predicted. No one thought that Dominik was going to break out, especially in this manner. Everyone knew he had potential. We all saw that he was great in the ring. He's got a family name to live up to, his father's legacy to try to outshine, which we thought that's almost impossible. His entire career, from that perspective, would be an uphill battle. But look what he's done in such little time. Let's start from the very beginning. We first saw Dominik in WWE back in 2003 on SmackDown. He would be in the crowd to watch his father, Rey Mysterio, win the Cruiserweight title, and even got in the ring to celebrate with him as the show went off the air. Then, what we remember most from his first few appearances in WWE was the feud between Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero, where Eddie reveals that Dominik is his biological son. This leads to the two of them having a ladder match battling for the custody of Dominik. We would see him eventually make a couple more appearances down the line, but that was the most eventful one because he was the centerpiece of a feud as a boy. Then we go to 2018 where he is training to become a professional wrestler. He then started making appearances for WWE in March of 2019 during Rey Mysterio's feud with Samoa Joe for the US title. He also interfered in Rey Mysterio's WWE title match against Brock Lesnar during Survivor Series in November of 2019. Then Rey and Dominik in May of 2020 would start a feud with Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. Dominik would have his first ever WWE match at SummerSlam, where he took on Seth Rollins in a street fight, coming up short but putting in an incredible performance, especially considering it was his first match in WWE. Then at Payback, Dominik and Rey would defeat the team of Rollins and Murphy, where Dominik finally got his first win in WWE. Then Dominik would be able to take part in a qualifier for the triple threat match for the WWE title at Clash of Champions on Raw, where he lost to Seth Rollins. In October of 2020, Dominik Mysterio would be drafted to SmackDown. The next month at Survivor Series, he would come up short in the dual brand battle royal. Then we would see him enter the Royal Rumble in January of the following year at number 21, where he would eliminate King Corbin but be taken out by Bobby Lashley. Then he would team with his father Rey once again in a tag title fatal 4-way match involving the Street Profits, Otis and Chad Gable, and the champions, the SmackDown Tag Champions, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, where they would come up short. Then at WrestleMania Backlash in May of 2021, they would face Ziggler and Roode once again, winning the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, as this would be Dominik's first title in WWE. Rey and Dominik would also make history that night, becoming the first father-son duo to win the tag belts. They would eventually lose the titles to the Usos at Money in the Bank in July of that year, and would come up short in a rematch the following month at SummerSlam. Then for the 2021 draft, Rey and Dominik would be drafted to Raw. after the Mysterios both took on Austin Theory in separate matches, and then Dominik tried his hand at the Royal Rumble again, this time entering at number 14 and being eliminated by Happy Corbin. They would eventually, by the summer of 2022, start a feud with the Judgment Day's Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley. The Judgment Day, as a faction does, would be trying to recruit people. Their latest target, who they wanted to bring into the fold, just so happened to be Dominik. At the 2022 edition of SummerSlam on July 30th of that year, Dominik and Rey would defeat the team of Finn Balor and Damian Priest after Edge, the former leader of the Judgment Day, returned and interfered and helped them win. This is where things begin to get interesting. Edge obviously has a bone to pick with the Judgment Day, so you would think the Mysterios and Edge have a common enemy in the form of Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley. But Edge would be used to drive a wedge between the father-son duo of Rey and Dominik Mysterio. After coming up short in an undisputed tag team title match, the Judgment Day would attack Dominik and Rey as Edge tried to come out and save them. He would accidentally spear Dominik. The following week, backstage, Edge would try to console the Mysterios, letting them know he has their back. Dominik would continue to mean mug Edge as the Rated R Superstar asked if they were cool. Dominik replied, "Yeah, we're cool," and then shoved him. Later that night, Rey Mysterio would take on Finn Balor, and during the match, Rhea Ripley would appear, dragging out a bloody and bruised Dominik, which distracted Rey and allowed Balor to pick up the victory. Dominik would be by the side of Rey and Edge for their bout against Balor and Priest at Clash at the Castle in September. Edge and Rey would end up winning, but after the bout, Dominik would hit Edge with a low blow. Attempting to console his son, Rey would try to calm Dominik down and make him see reason, but Dominik would turn on his own father, hitting him with a vicious clothesline. Dominik Mysterio would go from a white meat babyface, the son of a legendary wrestler, to a breakout star and one of the biggest heels we have in professional wrestling today. Then on the following episode of Monday Night Raw, Edge and Rey Mysterio would be out in the ring looking for answers from Dominik after they were attacked by him at Clash at the Castle. They would demand he come out. Rhea Ripley would instead answer the call and introduced the new Dominik Mysterio. With his hair slicked back, in all black, Dominik didn't say a word. Despite being the newest member of the Judgment Day and the least experienced professional wrestler of the group, Dominik continues to get the biggest reactions of not only anyone in that faction, but really anyone in WWE and professional wrestling as a whole. He is arguably the biggest heel we have today. So the question is, how did we get to this point? How is Dominik the most hated professional wrestler that we have right now? Well, it has a lot to do with his father. It has almost everything to do with his father. Rey Mysterio is one of the most beloved professional wrestlers in the history of this industry. Fans cannot get enough of him. They relate to him as a smaller guy taking on giants, vying for the World Heavyweight Championship, challenging giants and Goliaths. Rey Mysterio is the ultimate underdog. For Dominik to step out of his father's shadow, he had to metaphorically put him down. He had to go against him. And that is what has made him the ultimate heel that we see currently. This storyline that has unfolded has been so incredible, and it just worked out so perfectly with the feud against the Judgment Day. Having Rey and Dom go against the Judgment Day after Edge had been betrayed by them and took time off. Then you had Edge return, and you had his history with Rey. They had been tag team champions previously, and they both had a common enemy in Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley. And with Dominik, you had an opportunity for the Judgment Day to recruit. You could tease that as well. And then you could have the tension with Edge and Dominik, which would lead to tension between Dominik and Rey, and could then lead to more favorability from Dom's perspective of the Judgment Day, who would want to focus more on him, as Dom feels he's being neglected by his own father for an old friend. The storyline and how it was set up, it was so organic, and it was quite literally the perfect storm. Now, as stated, for the reason as to why Dominik Mysterio is the biggest heel we have in professional wrestling today in terms of the reactions he's getting, the number one reason is his father Ray. But you can't understate the story that went into it, the preparations and the time and the timing of this angle and how it played out so perfectly with Edge no longer being in Judgment Day and wanting to get revenge on them, teaming with Ray, the history with Ray, and then the tension that provided between, like I said, Edge and Dom, then Ray and Dom, and then lured him over to the dark side, because you went from having just a plain old babyface, the son of a legendary professional wrestler who can do all the moves, has all the potential in the world, but maybe just doesn't have the personality, maybe just doesn't have the look. Now he's got it. Now he's got the attitude, he's got the aggression, he's got a look, and he is the most despised member of his four-man heel faction, and as I stated, he's the least experienced of them, not just in terms of WWE, but professional wrestling as a whole, for how young he is, how long he's been in the business, how long he's been in WWE, the amount of matches he's had, where he has gone so far is just incredible. And if he's gotten this far so quickly, being as hated as he is, a dream of so many professional wrestlers to be as successful as Dominik Mysterio is at the age he is, just imagine how far he will go in the years to come. And that was how Dominik Mysterio became the most hated heel in WWE. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.